Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to Conversations with Love. I am your host, Rhonda Love, and welcome to my podcast. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about. So I need you to call a friend and tell them to pull up, tune in, and let's get this conversation started. Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to Conversations with Love. And again, I am your host, Rhonda Love. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And you know what? Today, we're going to have a really interesting conversation. And I know sometimes people are probably saying, Rhonda, you say that every time. And maybe that is the case. All of my conversations are going to be interesting. But that being said, today we are going to be talking about something that I think most people can relate to, and that is kind of going out on your own, doing your own thing, being your own boss. How about that? And that is entrepreneurship. That's what we're going to talk about today. And in that, we're going to talk about the ups, the downs, the how to, the how not to. And we're going to have a good conversation with someone that's near and dear to me. And he's a good friend. He's also someone that kind of gets on my nerves sometimes. And you'll understand why I said that. He's laughing right now. But he gets it. And we're just going to take a deep dive, into talking about his business and how it came to be. And we have the none other than Mr. Brian Leggett. Woo!
Well, thank you for having me.
All right.
I like that intro too. And let me set the record straight. I do not get on her nerves.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
She gets on my nerves. I now repeat myself 2-3 times to everybody, and it's because of Rhonda Love. I'm like, get in the car. Wash your hands. So like I always repeat myself twice now because you and my kids.
Oh, Lord. Okay, so let me clarify this, everyone, if you're trying to figure out what's going on here. First of all, Brian is the owner of CSS Wellness, okay? Mm-hmm. And he is my husband and I's personal trainer, mm-hmm. All right? And you all have actually heard me mention his name. And I told him the other day, I said, I've mentioned your name in my podcast. I should bust him out, but I'm going to be nice.
Be nice. Be nice.
And so anyway, I've used him in conversation about different things. Like I'll say, if you're really trying to do something and you got to just kind of get your mind mentally there, but somebody's saying do it. And you like, no to the no, no, because he has heard me say that plenty of times, mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, but it's all good. It's all love, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, how about that?
And I respect your nose, too.
Oh, you respect the nose?
Sometimes.
Okay, yeah, he respects it, girl. Anywho, we're going to press forth, y'all. We're going to press on. So that being said, Mr. Brian, mm-hmm. I want to start off with your personal background.
Okay.
And the journey mm-hmm. in terms of before you went into this entrepreneurship role, okay?
Okay.
So just kind of give us a little bit of history and background about who you are, where you came up, and just how did Brian Leggett come to be?
Well,
other than your parents.
I know, right? Well, I can go back that far if you want. No. I was conceived.
No. We're good. Move on.
Right. And so I'm originally from Meridian, Mississippi.
Okay, Mississippi.
And yes, so I grew up in a neighborhood that was, just your basic, I would say middle class neighborhood, but mm-hmm. I had a great childhood. Me and my brother, I have an older brother and a younger sister. Okay. So I am a middle child. Right? Mm. That comes with all of its glories. Mm. And the neighborhood we grew up in, it was a good mixture of both boys and girls. So it's probably mm-hmm. like 5 or 6 other boys and 2 or 3 other girls. And so we had all of the adventures together. Like there was always some kind of sports being played. There was mm-hmm. always some kind of video games being played. We had our own community, the age ranged from like a 7-year span. So mm-hmm. the parents all felt comfortable with us going a little bit further mm-hmm. because as long as we stayed together. So there was time we're riding bikes. We're in the next town over. And like now I can't imagine. My kids are outside right now and I'm like, yo, what are they doing? Right? Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, mm-hmm. we were like
free,
a car ride away, and but it was Mississippi in the '90s, so it was fun, you know.
Wow.
And so I got into football. I actually started in the band. I played the
Oh,
trombone,
okay. I was just gonna
and
ask, what did you play?
I played the
Got it.
trombone
Mm-hmm.
my sixth grade year and my seventh grade year. And there was this kid that used to bully me,
Mm.
and I didn't call it bullying. You know, we didn't call it bullying back then, but
Mm.
he used to always talk about my trombone case and be like, you walk around with your bazooka and blah 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 blah. And then I found out he went out for the football team, and I was like, oh.
Oh.
Well, I'm about to go out for the football team. And then I went out there, and
Mm.
like, then my older brother was playing at the time, and I got out and I was like, I'm bigger than everybody, and I can beat up on everybody. So I got to beat up on that kid. I got to beat up on my brother. I got to beat up on all his friends. Right? And then it's like, hey, this is fun. And
Mm.
so I stuck with that, got rid of the band, and I played. Let's see, from the seventh grade on, and our high school team was pretty good, and we progressed. Like we went through our learning curves together.
Mm-hmm.
We got to a point where like we grew together as a team, and we were 3 games away from making it to the state championship.
Mm.
So then, but that along with my grades,
Mm-hmm.
that allowed me to really put myself in a position to where I was able to get a scholarship.
Okay.
It was between Jackson State, Troy, which was then was Troy State,
Mm-hmm.
Marshall, and West Point.
Mm. Jackson
And
State.
it,
Okay.
it wasn't this Jackson State.
Oh, okay.
It was not the Deion Sanders Jackson State.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Go.
And so,
Move forward. Move forward.
yeah,
Sorry.
I would have went to that Jackson State, but no,
Oh.
no. So I took my visit to Troy, and Troy is a beautiful campus. Loved
Mm-hmm.
everything about it, but it just felt like more of the same. And that
Mm.
next weekend, I took my visit to Marshall, and like we flew into Cincinnati, and there's snow up to your knees. And I'm from Mississippi, so that was like the second time that I ever even seen snow. And so it was that night I was sitting out in front of one of the frat houses, and we're just like, I'm on my official visit, so all of the things. And I don't know, I was just sitting out there and I was just looking around. I was like, I had left my phone. That's another thing. I left my phone in Birmingham, Alabama, in the car. So I didn't have my phone.
Mm.
I was completely disconnected from everybody, right? And I'm
I
just
get
like,
it.
just outside, just in this snow, just vibing. And I was like, I think I want to do this. I want to do something completely different. And so
Mm.
that's why I chose Marshall, picked Marshall that next morning, came to Marshall, played as a freshman,
Mm-hmm.
had a 4-year, career with them, and
Mm-hmm.
played football. I was a center and a guard.
Okay.
Um, Learned a lot, had a lot of great experience, a lot of good stories to tell. I got my major in exercise science,
Okay.
and actually, when I did my undergrad, I did it in cardiac and pulmonary rehab,
Hmm.
and like you have to do kind of like so many clinic hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to the end of my clinic hours, and 480 hours later, I told the lady, I was like, I don't want to do this. And she was like, what? And I was like, I don't want to do this. And so
Mm-hmm.
it was a little bit too slow
Mm-hmm.
for me at the time.
Got it.
And I mean, it would be perfect for me now, but
Mm-hmm.
back then, like I liked more athletic training,
Gotcha.
fast paced movement, et cetera, et cetera. And so they were like, well, how about you try physical therapy? And
Mm-hmm.
so, went toward the physical therapy route. And I don't know, I just didn't want to commit to another 3 years or something and not be sure about it.
Mm.
And so decided to get out of school and just start working. One of the strength coaches that I had, he was like, well, have you ever thought about personal training until you figure it out?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, not really. But so he set me up with this lady named Cheryl Justice. She
Mm-hmm.
was the training director at the YMCA in Huntington.
Hmm.
And so got with her. She taught me more in 3 months than I learned in 3 years in school.
Wow.
Like you learn it in school, but
Mm-hmm.
she taught me how to apply it. And that
Mm.
was really beneficial because it
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, now everything is starting to make sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So did that for a little bit, and then I just kind of look around and you see there's not a lot of extra money in Huntington, West Virginia. So
Oh yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna stop you for
yeah,
just a second
yeah.
because I'm curious. Was there anyone in your family
Hmm.
that kind of you looked and said, if I ever go, I mean, did you have any early inkling, I guess is what I'm asking, that you wanted to go into something that was yours?
That's a good question. Not really.
Okay.
No,
I was
no,
just curious.
no, because I mean, even like the whole time I was in school, it was on track to get a job, you know?
I got you. Yeah.
And that, so let me finish it and I'll come back and answer that question in full. So, I moved to Lexington because I wanted to be in a bigger market. Because I was like, if I want to do personal training, I need to be in like around more money, right? I hate to be so blunt about it.
No, it's all good. That's why we work,
but
for the money.
right? And so I came to Lexington. Originally played with the Horsemen, and that was a way to like just get over here, get my rent paid until I can get on my feet. So I played a season with them. By the end of the season, I was able to get a job. And that filled the bridge in order for me to get here and start living, et cetera, et cetera. But to answer your question, I worked in 3 different like gym facilities, right? And each one I worked in, I started something. So when I was at Body Structure, I started boot camps. And the reason I started the boot camps is because my daughter, she was 2 or 3 at the time. And the custody agreement was about to change. And so I was about to have her a whole lot more, which means I needed to start making a whole lot more money.
Gotcha.
And so I started doing boot camps. We grew that until that became like an actual piece of the business. Still is today. When I moved up to Morgantown, I was over a strength and conditioning department. And it was just, I mean, honestly, it was just like you have your personal training, you have your strength conditioning. There was no different. So I took that department and just completely remade it to make us set aside. Like I didn't want like no shade to the personal trainers, but I was like, we're different, guys. So if you're on this team, we're different, right?
Gotcha.
And you need to act like it. And so took that program and created something anew. Came back here to Lexington, was working with Proof, and even the same thing, like just took a whole nother program and just recreated it, right? And I got to a point where I was like, I've done all of this building for everybody else. It's time for me to build for myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it's funny because when you mentioned Proof, that's where I met you. So how long ago was that?
That's 2016.
Okay. So I've known you for a while.
A little bit, a few years.
And I remember the one thing I remember about like taking your class, and even to this day, I will give you this credit. I'm gonna give you some credit, okay? And that was, you were all in terms of consistency with how you did your classes. You were always very energetic. You were always very engaging, and you were very attentive to everybody.
Yeah.
Except when my husband is involved. No. He don't pay me in no attention.
Bromance.
Anywho, we're gonna talk about that another time. But that being said, that's what I remember, right?
Right.
And it was fun. And so I don't know if you feel comfortable, but let's talk about, and you may go into this, the Proof situation and moving forward to where you are today.
Okay.
Because I think the thing is when we go into, and you don't have to go into it, I don't know everything, but you know what I'm saying, just kind of share that process in that time frame.
Okay.
But when we go into being an entrepreneur, right?
Right.
And I mentioned it early, we're going to have the ups and the downs, and we got to figure out how to and how not to.
Yeah.
So what were those learnings from Proof
Yeah.
to where you are now?
Honestly,
Take us through that journey.
that was a rough part of my life, right? I was 29, going on 30, and when we moved back so we were in Morgantown, we were doing great. We had just bought a house, we just had LB, my oldest son, and it was like we had 3-4 years of experience, and I looked at Tara, I was like, we can go wherever we want. We can write our ticket because we have experience, we have education, we can do whatever we want. So we spun the globe. We looked at 4 different places. We ended up in Lexington because we already had a core group of friends here. And so it was like, I want to go back to somewhere where we already have like a family, And so we came back to Lexington, and there was 3 different places I had an opportunity to work with. Tara did not want me to go with Proof. She didn't get a good feeling about it. But I told her, I was like, here's my vision
The
of
wife
what's,
intuition.
oh my God,
Intuition.
never go against it. Never go against it.
Sorry.
Right. And so I had a vision for what I wanted to do and what I wanted to get out of that situation, because I knew I wanted to start a business. I knew I wanted to start my own business at that point. But I told, like, I was in an interview with them, and I told them, I was like, God, I know how to do everything up front, right? From the training, the selling, the cleaning, all of the front stuff, right? I know how to do all of that. I don't know anything about how to actually run a business, the back office, how to keep the books. And that was one of our things of our agreement was, we'll teach you all of this, we'll teach you that, we'll have you in all of the meetings, all of the planning meetings, et cetera, et cetera. Fast forward 5, 6 months, and I've always been blessed to be able to have impact wherever I go. And so that place was the same. They had certain records that have never been broken, broke all of those. Like certain sale goals that were seemingly too high, broke all of those. Right? We pieced together a team that was absolutely amazing, and we put processes in place for them to actually like succeed, right?
Okay.
And so anyway, that was the good. And then it was some things that happened that just deterred me, and it just kind of like it's tough when you are giving your all and you're pushing extremely hard and you are building other people's dreams on the back of the people that you love, right? And so there was days I didn't see LB because he was asleep when I get up and go to work, and he was asleep by the time I actually got home. And then the only time that I would have free during the day was his nap time at daycare. So I can't really go. So there was like days that I didn't see him. Tara was working. She's honestly, at that point, she was the breadwinner, right? So she's bringing on the money, the insurance, and keeping the kids. And I keep painting for her this picture, this dream, and she's like, "Boy, for what?" And so
She was holding on, trying to help her man.
yeah.
I
And
love
so
it.
you're doing all of this, and then just to have people turn around and just like do you whatever kind of way, nah, I'm good. So decided to walk away from that position, and at that point I just was like, you know what, I don't know what I want to do, but I just need to just take a break from it all. So I completely got out of personal training and went and got a job doing logistics. Shout out to TQL. It's a grind. It's a grind. If you've been there, you understand what I'm saying. And so did that for 8, 9 months. But I tell everybody that time was very important, both the proof and the TQL, because proof taught me what is now the vision for CSS. And the time at TQL was the first time that I actually had time to sit down, right? And I tell everybody that was when God sat me down. And actually, it was like, it gave me time to think. It gave me time to plan. It gave me time to actually like see where we were going, right?
Gotcha.
So yeah, does that answer?
No, that's
I could keep
good.
going.
No, and I think that's
Okay.
good stuff. And just I think I always have to just say this. I think you said, God sat you down.
Yeah.
And sometimes he will do those things to kind of also draw us closer to him,
Right.
so that we can kind of rely on him and not of ourselves.
Right. Right.
And then giving us that direction of where we're to go, because sometimes people will say, well, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and it's about wisdom.
Yeah.
And it's having God's wisdom. It's almost like saying, when you trust in God, you're gonna trust in him, but you have to have the wisdom and understanding of what it is he has for you.
Yeah.
So it looked like he had some great things for you, because what I also remember is that you worked from your home. Right?
Right.
If I can say that,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And it's funny, I already said it. You probably like her.
No, it's okay. No, you're good. You're good.
I just thought of that.
You're good.
But you worked from your home for a while, right?
Right.
And then you started to grow your business. And then you moved over, what was that?
By Kroger on Richmond Road.
Yes, by Kroger.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I think we kind of, meaning Daryl and I came over. and started to work out with you. But just seeing that growth
Hmm.
from you, I
Yeah.
just think it was
So
phenomenal.
I can tell you a little bit about that.
Yes,
I'm
please.
I'm working at TQL at the
Mm-hmm.
time,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a bad taste in my mouth when it came to personal training. I
Mm-hmm.
was over it. I was over the whole thing, right? But I was still working out, and like my desk mates, I would train all of them. We get up in the morning, 5, 6 in the morning, work out, then
Mm-hmm.
come to work, and we had a competition going, a weight loss competition going.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody chipped in like $100 to see who can lose the most body fat in like 8 weeks or something like that. And I was like, guys, I'm gonna blow y'all away. Y'all have no idea, right? And so I don't know, that kind of re-sparked my love for it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my desk mates, excuse me, his name was Adam, and he asked me one day, he was like, "Bro, why are you here?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Why are you here? You have like a whole degree, you have a certification. Why are you here? Like the rest of us, we know why we're here. Why are you here?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, "Yo, you right,"
Mm-hmm.
But there was no
Mm-hmm.
action. There was no
Mm-hmm.
action after that. It
Mm-hmm.
was just like a aha moment. That moment happened right before. I
Mm-hmm.
swear to goodness, it was like 2 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
Tara comes home one day and she was just like, she was over it. She was overworked, and she was just like, "I'm done. I'm quitting in December." And I was like, "Quitting what?" Right? She had just taken a new job.
Mm-hmm.
She was making over 80,000. Like her
Mm-hmm.
base was 80,000. That's
Mm-hmm.
not bonus or anything, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "I'm quitting." And so I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so like we started talking about it, and she was like, "You've had 5 years to figure it out. Figure it out. I'm quitting in December." And that moment I told her, I was like, "All right,
Mm-hmm.
but here's what's real. In order for me to like really support our family, I have to
Mm-hmm.
get back in personal training.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna get scary." Because when I
Mm-hmm.
left the proof situation,
Mm-hmm.
they're threatening everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there was some bad blood mixed in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I told her, I was like, "It's gonna get scary. They're gonna come after us. They're gonna threaten this, that, and the third,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Like they
Mm-hmm.
have no leg to stand on, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like it is what it is, right?"
Right. Right.
And so, sure enough, she said yes. She said, "Cool, let's do
Mm-hmm.
it."
Mm-hmm.
But it's still no action, right? And so I had all of these plans of what I wanted CSS to be. The first CSS was supposed to be a mobile fitness training facility.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to take a UPS truck and gut it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to build a gym in the back of a UPS truck. And I was going to pull up to your house, train you in the truck, get
Oh.
everything cleaned up, go
Mm-hmm.
to the next one, go train the next person, right? So I'd done all the research on the trucks,
Mm-hmm.
like the leveling systems, different equipment that will
Mm-hmm.
actually be able to like be portable enough, et
Sure.
cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Had all the plans drawn, all the numbers, everything. And
Mm.
that's why it's convenient, simple success.
I was just gonna say
Because what's more
yes.
convenient than me pulling up in your house, right?
Absolutely.
that was
Okay.
that was the
So that
tagline.
was so that's how you came up with CSS, and
That
that's
was
what
the
I was gonna ask. That's how you.
Well, sort of, kinda.
Okay.
A really quick story. I'll be quick on this one.
No,
So
it's fine.
we had, so Tara at the time, she was kind of like a hair model.
Mm-hmm.
Like she had got on Instagram. Kind of her Instagram blew up. I know, kinda. It blew up, and she started to be very well known for her hair and
Mm-hmm.
for selling Beachbody. And
Mm.
so we had went to a hair show in Nashville, and while we were there, we went to get brunch or whatever. And this guy had a semi truck trailer
Mm-hmm.
that he had turned into like a fashion studio.
Mm-hmm.
And so luckily we're waiting on brunch. So we go and we look, and he's there. So I'm talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I got 5 of these. I park them in different spots that are hot. So like any kind of brunch spots that are hot, whatever, I'll just park them here and people can come in here and shop. I'll come and pick it up, put it all, new stuff in, and park
Mm-hmm.
it somewhere else." So I was like, "Yeah, that's an amazing idea. Love that." And so we were having dinner with two of our friends, and the wife was thinking about opening a bridal shop. And so I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Yo, we just got back from Nashville. Let me shoot this idea to you." And I
Mm-hmm.
told her about it, and I was like, "You should do that for a bridal shop. And that way everything can be on site for
Mm-hmm.
the bridal party." You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
And she hated that idea. So I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna do it for fitness. I'm gonna get a truck, and I'm gonna pull up at your house, and it's gonna be convenient, simple success." I swear to goodness. that's where the name came
Wow.
from.
Wow.
And so it was that night sitting at dinner, and
Mm-hmm.
so then I called Tara's brother. He's a graphic designer,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I want a logo for CSS, and I want it to be like a C and the SS kind of intertwined, and I want like the S's to be like the supercharger on like the Chevy Impala supercharger, right? And so he sent me back the first logo, and I was like, I hate that. Change this. We did like 9 different takes, and then
Mm-hmm.
I ended up like on the first one. He was so mad. He was
He's like,
so
that was
mad.
what I had.
Right? He was so mad. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, you was right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no. So anyway, yeah, it was in that time. So that I'm sitting at the desk. I have all these plans,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, all right, how do I actually bring this to life though?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just started calling people. And one of
Mm-hmm.
the first people I called was this lady named Julie Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
And I just called her and was like, hey, I'm thinking about getting back into personal training.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be willing to come and train in my basement with me?
Mm-hmm.
And she said yes. And I was like, oh, shoot. Okay, here, call the
Mm-hmm.
next person.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had like a few yeses and a few, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first day I went to my manager, and I told him, I was like, listen, I'm leaving, because like that's one of those places where you don't put in the 2 weeks.
Mm.
Like if you put in the 2 weeks, they're gonna walk you out the door, because
Oh,
they're
okay.
people steal clients and stuff, right?
Gotcha.
And so I went to him and I told him, I was like, I'm leaving. This is
Mm.
why. This is what I'm gonna do.
Mm.
And he was like, all right. And I was like, I promise you, in 3 months, I will have this thing up and running. And that was October. That was like the end of September, right?
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
started CSS October 2nd, 2017.
Mm.
Tara quit her job in December.
Wow.
Yeah. So, because it
Mm.
was like we were actually doing it. So, I mean, it was a hustle though. It was a
Yeah.
grind.
Right.
And, it
Right.
was like, and we had a lot of good people in our corner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I mean that is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's good, because I think that for those of us who are, trying to go out on their own, here's the other thing. Sometimes you can run into people that will be the dream crushers.
Right.
So did you ever have it in any point in time, while you were going through this
Yeah.
or working towards it,
Yeah.
where you had somebody to say, man, you crazy?
Yeah, absolutely. So the vision, so the mission statement for CSS Wellness is
Mm-hmm.
empowering self-love through movement while
Mm-hmm.
creating ownership of you.
Okay.
The vision of CSS is to create a safe space for trainers to grow, develop, and master their craft.
Got
And
it.
the reason why that's the vision is because I wanted to create a business that I needed every step of the way.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to create the business of when I was at Body Structure, and like I'm young, I got a degree, I don't know what to do with it, but I got a lot of energy, right? I also wanted to create a place where when I was at Pro Performance and I was like, I got some experience and I got some certifications and I got a team and I am learning how to be a manager.
Mm-hmm.
I also wanted to create a place to where when I was at Proof, it's like, no, like I'm running things, like I'm running departments, I'm running facilities, like I'm operations and everything, right?
Right.
I wanted to create a place where you can be all of those things, right? And if it wasn't for the experiences that I had in each one of those places, I would not have known what to create,
Mm-hmm.
And so I tell everybody, it's my job to focus on the trainers. Y'all focus on the clients, right? You figure out the clients. I got to figure out how to create a space for y'all to actually grow and develop, right?
Gotcha.
So that's where I put my focus. You asked me about the dream crushers. Yes. So I told Tara that it was going to get scary. And the phone call came. I was helping a friend move into a facility. I'm putting down his rubber floor for him. So I'm like, I don't know if you've ever moved that rubber floor, but it will beat you up, and it is tough, and it is heavy, and it is hot, and you will come away with some scratches and some bruises. And so I'm like putting this floor together, and I'm hammering away, and I'm not gonna say any names, but the manager of the place, or the owner of the building where we were moving in, she came upstairs and she asked the guy that I was helping, and she was like, "Well, I just got off the phone with such and such, and he heard that Brian is here working with you."
Mm.
And so we all just kind of stopped and looked, and she was like, "He said that he's going to send me a cease and desist if you hire him." And I just was like, I didn't say a word. I just wanted to see how it was going to play out. I was prepared to walk away. I was like, like I know where I'm going to play it, how I'm going to play it, right?
Got it.
But I didn't want to say anything. I just want to see how it played out. And so, sure enough, she just kind of like looked around and she was like, "He ain't going to push me around. And you can do whatever you want to do. I ain't hired Brian. And he can send a cease and desist if he wants to. We'll fight him to the teeth." And I was like,
whoa.
There you go. That's the moment we've been waiting on. And it happened. And like I said, we had some really good people in our corner because that would have scared most people away. That would have scared most people away, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you were still determined,
I was ready. I mean,
You were ready
at
to
any
roll.
point in time, I was ready to walk away from it all.
I got you.
I
got you. Well, and like I said, I think that's just being real, in terms of going into into business. Now, let me ask you, was there also at any point where you felt like, going through the process that you just couldn't do it? Like you woke up one day and you're like, "Oh man, this has been a lot." We had the dream crushes, but you got over the dream crushes. Now you're moving on, things are, going pretty well.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden you wake up in the morning and you're like, "I don't think I can do this. Maybe I was wrong."
Yeah. Shout out to my therapist, Toby Jenkins. That's my guy. That's my guy. That's my guy. Here's the part of the story that no one talks about. Everybody enjoys talking about the grind. Everybody enjoys talking about that moment that you come to be successful.
Right.
But what happens afterwards? Right? For so many years, my goal was to be able to provide for my family financially, be the sole provider for my family financially, and get off at a time that I can actually raise my family, right? I am the sole provider for my family financially, and I get off every day around 2:00, sometimes 3. Tara looks at me crazy. I would say, "I'm sorry," whatever, right? I'm like, "Dang, baby, 3:00?" Jeez. Anyway, but I'm serious. Like I most days I'm home by 2:00, right?
That's awesome.
I'm living the dream, right?
Absolutely.
We have a beautiful white house on a hill. We got all of our needs are fulfilled, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? But nobody tells you like afterwards, where do you go from here, right? And you have to stay focused on continue to find those goals and find those things and hit them, right? But you will go through a point to where after you're successful and after you've done what you've set out to do, you're gonna have to figure it out again. And that's the point where I've gone through a couple times. It's like, all right, like what's the next goal, right? How do I find that happiness again?
Right.
Because most people that can go through it and make it through it, you got a dog in you, right? And there's a dog in you that will not quit.
Right.
But when you get there, that dog still exists. You
Exactly.
Find another goal, right?
Exactly.
And so, that's what they don't talk about.
Right. And I remember you saying that when we were just talking about us getting together, the adversity.
Yeah.
Just all of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And well, I this is one other thing that I like asking people, or I want to start asking, is what would you tell your younger self now?
That's a good question. So many things. The first thing I would tell him is be patient. Be patient. And so I've always had a thing where I tell people, like, try to stand on the shoulders of a genius. There's been so many people that have come before us that have done the things that we want to do. Right? Stand on their shoulders. You don't have to make those same mistakes, right? And that's something I've told myself for many years. I would go back and tell my younger self, okay, but actually listen to
it. and you know what? Right. That's the part, though.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I think sometimes that's definitely the part, because you can have people that have gone through, and I'm just going to say real quick from a parental
Yeah,
thing. You can
absolutely.
tell your kids stuff like, look, don't do this, don't do
Mm-hmm.
that. And why are you telling me to do it? I want to do it because
Right.
I've gone
Oh
through
my
it.
goodness, right?
I've
Yeah.
been through it, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to prevent you from going over
Mm-hmm.
and having to, double
I'm just
back.
trying to show you so you don't have to make the same mistakes.
Exactly. Stand on the
Mm-hmm.
shoulder of a genius.
Yeah.
That would be the parent.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Yeah.
saying. But go
Absolutely.
ahead.
No, I just dropped my just dropped my daughter off at college this past Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a talk with her. We were like, here's the rules to partying, right?
Uh-oh.
We tell you all these things about how to do in school, but here's some rules that you need to know, right?
Right.
When you drink,
Uh-oh. Here we go.
stand up. Right? Because whatever level of drunkenness you are on when you're sitting down, when you stand up,
Oh boy, that is
it's gonna
hilarious.
hit you, right?
Hmm.
Number two, drink water. Every drink you have have some water, right? And number three, try not to break the seal. You don't want to be the girl sitting in the line of the bathroom at the club.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
So you were telling her this from a
Absolutely.
realistic point of view,
Yeah.
understanding that she
Yes.
is a college student.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear you.
Look, I'm not the look. You gotta keep in mind. I had her when I was like 19, 20 years old.
Okay.
I'm not that old, so
I
I
gotcha.
remember those days, right? So I'm like, girl, listen. Let me tell you
Gotcha.
how to navigate this real quick. You know.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah.
I gotcha. All right. Well, anything else in terms of just the younger self, or you feel that was pretty much it?
No, I think that'd be about it.
That's about it. Okay, you're gonna save it,
I know.
right?
Well, I could tell them a lot.
I-
Invest your money. There's a difference between trading and investing. Learn
oh
the
yeah,
difference
because you
quick,
love all that, don't you?
you know. And well, you know, like I would definitely tell them like long term, think long term, right? One of the best things that Toby ever told me was like, because we were talking about like what's important, how to make decisions, et cetera, et cetera. And he said, make every decision based off 30 years from now. Where do you want to be 30 years from now?
Mm-hmm.
How does this decision affect that, right?
Gotcha.
And if it does not put you closer to where you want to be 30 years from now, don't make that decision, right? Another thing that he told me was, you know, if you're in a relationship, is every big decision has to have two enthusiastic yeses, right? So if like moving, buying big things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, like big decisions, make sure both parties have enthusiastic yeses. And if both people are not enthusiastically yes, don't do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I like that. I do like that because just being married to my husband, and as you know,
Hey.
we both we are pretty much always on the same page with most things,
Right.
for sure, and
Right.
especially when it comes to finance. It's just that I like to move a little bit quicker than he does, as you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm good. And he's like, oh, let me crunch the numbers.
Right.
I'm telling on him.
Right.
But anywho, so yeah, to your point, that is good. That's good advice. Well, Brian, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I
Thank you for
appreciate
having me.
it. And this has been a good conversation about entrepreneurship and all the things that
Yeah.
one would go through.
Yeah.
And I always leave people with a little, what I call my love note. And this is a quote from Martin Luther King.
Okay.
And he says, if you can't fly, then run.
You can't run.
If you can't run, then walk.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't walk, then crawl.
Right.
But whatever you do, you have to keep moving
That's right.
forward.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So I like that. And I will say, as we close out, I have my son here who is helping me to produce this podcast.
Right.
And he has a EP song that's entitled Baby Steps.
Okay.
So I want him to take us out on that.
Okay.
But anyway.
Can I, before you hit play on Baby Steps?
Uh-oh.
Okay. Good. One thing I do want to leave for my entrepreneurs of the world, put your blinders on. Because there's a lot of noise, especially now. In the world of social media, where you see all these things and all these people doing all these things.
Right.
Even me, right? Like people see me and like the lights are bright and the tires are shining right now, right? It wasn't always like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Put your blinders on,
Mm-hmm.
get
Mm-hmm.
really good at your craft,
Mm-hmm.
and then figure out what problem am I solving, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that and make that your mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get really good at my craft and what problem am I solving? If you can
Gotcha.
do those things,
Mm-hmm.
I swear to goodness, everything else takes care of itself. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough because you want to look to the left, you want to look to the right.
Mm-hmm.
You see people doing things and you want to be there too.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even worry about that.
Right.
Put your
Right.
blinders on.
And you know what I would say for that?
Yeah.
In a few words,
Yeah.
just do you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You can't worry about what everybody else is doing.
Yeah. It's
you know?
tough. It's
Some
tough.
folks are going to get there a lot faster, and that may not be your journey.
Right. Right.
So I hear you on
Yeah.
that. I like that. I like that.
Because
I
there's
like that.
going to be a lot of things where people are going to like you were talking about the naysayers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times the naysayers don't even come externally, right?
Mm-hmm.
It comes from within. We tell ourselves no 10 times before the first person tells us no,
Mm-hmm.
right? Think about how many times you tried to sell something to somebody and you've already convinced yourself that they're not going to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they say no, they're supposed to say no. When you're selling stuff, they tell you, expect 7 no's before you get a yes.
Absolutely.
Every time you tell me no, that's developing what the yes is going to look like.
Absolutely.
But most people have already convinced themselves that that person's going to say no, so they get that first no and they're done.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's
So, yeah,
true.
we can go.
I
on
know.
and
I'm
on
about to
about
say,
that.
like I end up saying this with most
Yeah.
people is I'm gonna have to probably bring you back
Yeah,
again
absolutely.
for another
Yeah.
second part 2.
Yeah.
I don't know what that part 2 is, but we'll just keep talking, right?
Absolutely.
But for right now, like I said, thank you all. Thank you again. And thank you, my listeners, for listening and tuning in. So go take on the day. Do good and be great. Until next time, God bless.
If you can't run, then jog. If you can't jog, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But no matter what, you gotta keep up. You gotta keep moving on.